Sweeties Intuition. Today we're gonna do a reading. This is gonna be a subscriber special. I was just thinking about how much I appreciate all of you, your support on my channel, the views that you give me, the likes you give me, the comments that you leave. Y'all are just wonderful. And I wanted to do a reading specifically for you. For the Hive Collective. And if you're not subscribed to me right now, you can always subscribe, and then you would be part of the Hive Collective, and this would pertain to you as well. But yeah, so I thought it would be fun to do a little reading for the subscribers, and I think this will be about your glow. Yeah, like what creates that glow that you have, because I feel like my subscribers are some of the most beautiful people out there, and all of you have your own unique little glow to you. And yeah, let's just see what comes out. I think this one actually will be a quickie. We'll see. But I'm trying to be more focused on making it a quickie today. So. Anyways, let's just dive right in, shall we? I've been watching a lot of Jamie French recently, and she's so funny. And I love when she does her Jennifer Coolidge impression. I think it's really good. And so I've been trying to speak in a Jennifer Coolidge sort of accent when I'm just talking. I do it a lot worse than she does, but I don't know. It must be a neurodivergent thing, because I love doing just silly impressions, especially if I'm not very good at them. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. But if you hear me talk like this randomly, it's because of her. So blame her. It's not my fault. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways. Now I forgot what I was gonna do. Yeah, let's just start the reading, right? This is why I can't do quickies, is because I spend too long talking about nothing. Okay. Alrighty, so let's just dive right in, shall we? Yeah, please and thank you, Spirit. What gives the Hive Collective their glow? What contributes to our subscribers' glow? Their little glow they got going on. The glow that runs the show, you know. Okay, please and thank you, Spirit. What is with the collective, the Hive Collective's glow? What's with their glow, you know? What makes them glow? What contributes to that glow? Please and thank you, Spirit. Ooh. Okay, thank you, Spirit. This is a little bit much. Oh, actually, this is a lot. It's a lot. You know what? We'll just speed run them. So it's okay that there's a lot, because we will speed run the clarifications. Or at least that's the idea at the moment. Okay, yeah, this is a lot. But whatever. Probably saying a story or something. Okay, let me just show ya what the heck even came out. Oh, okay, actually that probably goes with that. And then this goes down here. Okay. So, what gives you that glow? We have the Nine of Cups. Beautiful. And then we have the Knight of Cups. And then we have the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Swords. So 3 knights back to back, literally, coming out for you. I'm just gonna say it right off the bat. I think that there is a lot of people that are fancying your glow. Like, you're intriguing people. I mean that probably in multiple ways, to be honest. But yeah, anyways. Then we have the Tower card. And then we have the Six of Cups. And then we have the Six of Swords. Repeating sixes could be a thing. And then we have the King of Swords. And then bottom of the deck, we have the Five of Pentacles. Okay. All right, I think I'm just gonna jump right into the clarification. Sorry, I have a sweaty chin. I know that's so beautiful and attractive, right? Having a nice sweaty chin. I can't help it. I'm chronically ill like that. You know, just profusely sweating all the time. You know how it is. Anyways, let's start out with that Nine of Cups, shall we? Yeah, let's clarify that Nine of Cups. What about this Nine of Cups is about the collective glow, the glow that you know and love. Okay. Ooh, we got some goodies. Clarifying that Nine of Cups, we have the Hanged Man. And then we also have this little stack that came out, which is the Page of Cups, King of Cups, Nine of Wands, the Emperor, and then bottom of the deck, we have the Strength card. So that Strength card, I feel like, is huge when it comes to your glow. You have this patient, kind nature to you, but you're extremely resilient and very capable. I don't know why that capable part came through, but we'll roll with it. I feel like the Hanged Man is the main part of this Nine of Cups. So with the Nine of Cups, I'm getting that there's something about your inner light that feels very self-contented, and that doesn't even have to mean that you don't need anybody else and that, you know, you don't crave companionship or any of those human things. I don't think that's the case, but rather there's like this self-feeding of your inner glow and happiness and contentment. You probably have worked a lot on your self-love and your self-acceptance, your like body neutrality, I feel like, is another thing. So it's like, instead of being completely like self-love, because we don't always feel love towards ourselves, and you know, that's, I think, part of being human. So some people go with more so the like the body neutrality thing, where it's like, you know, I don't have to feel like I love these parts of myself that maybe I don't truly love that much, but I can accept them and have like a neutral energy towards them. There's just something about like you having this happiness within you, or at least contentment or acceptance. And with the Hanged Man, there's something about you going through a difficult time, but that difficult time allowed you to see something maybe much more clearer, because it was like a shift in perspective. You had a different perspective of things, and I almost feel like that's probably what contributed to you leaning more so into your self-love and self-acceptance. Also, there's like a very enlightened energy to the Hanged Man, and I feel like that's another part, is like you probably are very divinely guided. And maybe this is something that other people notice about you. It feels like you have a sense of direction, at least to some capacity. Or at least that's how people are perceiving you. And then, this is very interesting that these came out to clarify that Nine of Cups. First off, I feel like these two are together, the Page of Cups and the King of Cups, and to me it almost even speaks of like evolution. Starting out as a Page of Cups, growing into the King of Cups. So that would take time, that would take knowledge, experience. And it is the cups, so specifically around emotions. You're probably very emotionally intelligent, emotionally mature. These are things that you probably have worked on throughout your life, and they sort of have developed along your journey. But you have a lot of wisdom when it comes to the heart. You also have a lot of power around emotions in the heart. Like you have power over your emotions, which I feel like is a big thing. Or rather, it's very rare to have that sense of power or control over your own emotions. Not everybody has that. But there is like this sense of like, no matter, like, do you see the waves in the background of this card? They kind of look like they're kind of going crazy, but this guy, the King of Cups, he's chill. Neutral face expression. So it's like, no matter how crazy or hectic those emotions get, you have the ability to stay calm amongst the storm. So that is something very special about you that people notice. I find this an interesting combination as well. The Nine of Wands with the Emperor, because it almost speaks to me about like how at one point you were very hurt by the past and you kind of built up this wall, and maybe at one point in your life you were kind of trying to be closed off to other people, closed off to certain experiences because you were so afraid of like the past repeating itself, you going through those painful cycles again. And that's totally normal and you know, pretty much expected when you go through difficult times. But then it's almost like the Emperor, it's almost like this level up that happened. Because the thing about the Emperor is like, he's like the face of an empire. And the Emperor would need to be coming outside of his shell. You know, he can't be in the Nine of Wands energy if he wants to be the Emperor. He'll have to overcome those fears of being hurt, break down those walls that he has built over some period of time. There's also that self-empowerment as well. And also time passing, going through experiences, overcoming difficulties, and building your confidence through experiences. So it's almost like this knowledge comes out of this moment of darkness where it's like, wow, I just can't win. Going from that sort of energy of like, wow, I just can't win. It feels like, you know, no matter what I do, I just keep facing these obstacles after obstacles. But then it's almost like this shift in perspective that leads to you feeling much more empowered, where it's like maybe you start to think, wow, I've overcome all of these obstacles that have been put in my path. That shows how strong I am, how powerful I am, and what I'm capable of. And that's something I truly believe is like we build our own self-confidence through meeting our challenges and pushing through obstacles, not giving up. Because humans are way more resilient and strong and powerful than we typically believe ourselves to be. And I feel like you've unlocked this power within, and now it's like you just come across as this powerhouse, I want to say. You're so incredibly powerful, and people really pick up on that, and there's something very special about you. And with that King of Cups and the Emperor, I feel like there's something about like your destiny being in a position of power in some regard, or being put into a place where you have a lot of responsibility, but it's because you are so capable and so powerful and very brilliant. And again, there's like something about a lot of like life experiences that have taken place for you. And all of these experiences have made you wiser and more skilled, more resilient. I think there is a white feather floating on the river right now. I've been seeing feathers. I'll look up to see what that is a sign of. In my opinion, before I look it up, I would assume that seeing feathers could be a sign of shedding something, but I'm not quite sure. Also, I did, on the way to this spot, I saw a cardinal couple. Two cardinals. First, I saw the female cardinal, which, has more muted colors. And then the male bright red cardinal joined the female. And yeah, they were like flying back and forth and hanging out with each other. It was really cute. That could be a side message about something to do with union or companionship. Maybe people think that you would make a very good life companion, whether that be friend, family, or romantic. But it definitely gives more of a romantic sort of sense, seeing the couple of cardinals. Something about maybe soulmates. Maybe somebody thinks that you're their soulmate. Also, fun fact, when we see those Christmas cards where it's like two red cardinals, bright red cardinals together on like a Christmas card, and it says season's greetings and stuff like that. It's typically, I should say, it's typically the males that are the bright red cardinals. So whenever you see two red cardinals together, and it, clearly it looks like they're supposed to be a couple, they're actually a little gay couple. Isn't that so cute? I think that's such a funny little thing to notice around Christmas time. And since I am mentioning so much about cardinals, there could be something about the Christmas season. Maybe there's something about how you are like a gift. Your energy is like a gift to people. Like they feel very blessed to be in your presence. Presence. But that's nice. I feel like there was something else I was trying to say with that, but I lost it. Anywho, let's look at the bottom of the deck with that strength card. So yes, you give off this air of just being very powerful, but this power comes through in a very down-to-earth, calm, peaceful way. Although I do think that you can enter that mode of being more so a fighter, I do think that you have a good balance between that fighting spirit and this peacemaking spirit within you. And that balance is probably something that adds to that glow that you show up with. Let's see what's underneath the strength card. 5 of Cups. This is interesting because we have the 5 of Pentacles at the bottom of this deck. 5 of Cups, 5 of Pentacles. So repeating 5s could also be significant. But with that 5 of Cups, I feel like you've experienced a lot of disappointment, especially probably in love or matters of the heart. Could also be that you struggle with depression. Sometimes I see the 5 of Cups as more of like a depression card, like just not being able to see things positively. I feel like you've been through a lot of disappointing events in your life, and these are the types of events that could have made you more of a pessimist, but somehow through your strength of will, you have created a way more positive outlook, regardless of your past. And maybe it's like something about your connection to spirit that aids that, or there's like this sense of hope about the future, like my future is going to look much brighter than my past was. But people feel that through your energy. Maybe they can sense that you've been through things, but you don't really show, or at least you don't show up as, I guess like you don't really show up as somebody that is pessimistic because of their past experiences. Let's go on to the Knight of Cups now. Please and thank you, Spirit. What about that Knight of Cups? when it comes to the collective, the Hive Collective's glow. Anything else for that Knight of Cups? Please, thank you, Spirit. Anything else? Okay. Okay, so clarifying that Knight of Cups, we have the Six of Pentacles and the Ten of Swords. And then bottom of the deck, we have the Four of Swords. I feel like you are mastering your self-care, your meditation, your connection to spirit. You probably very much value your alone time as well. So that Knight of Cups gives me that energy of you showing up in a very loving way towards others. And you also probably have a very kind way of communicating with others. You're also very giving. And this doesn't just have to be in terms of like financial, giving, which you could be. You could be somebody that gives to charities or something. But more than that, I feel like you have this abundant spirit in which you feel like you can disperse the valuable things that you have, such as wisdom, tidbits of information, knowledge, etc. You're just a very giving person. But the balancing of the scales in this image, it kind of tells me that you've learned to find a place of balance in that giving. I don't think that you probably were somebody that used to give to your own detriment, like giving to everybody else except for yourself. But I feel like now you have found a place of balance. And with the Ten of Swords following that Six of Pentacles, maybe there was like this rock bottom that you hit as a result of just giving. Could have even been a place of burnout. But yeah, this is typically a card of endings and painful endings. So maybe there was like some sort of painful ending that you went through that kind of shook you awake to a degree where you're just like, you know what? I need to receive. And I can't just keep giving without giving to myself as well. And without expecting something in return. Because there needs to be that place of balance. My shreddy chin. It's like, yes. Why don't I point out the insecurities so that it's even more noticeable? Anyways, but I feel like this great sense of rebirth coming from this Ten of Swords, where it's like you hit that rock bottom, you experienced a lot of pain, but then the sun rose again after that. And you had a new beginning where you restarted and maybe figured out a place of establishing boundaries, creating boundaries with others, finding that place of balance when it comes to giving. Like a major shift there in terms of your mindset when it comes to giving, but you still show up in that loving, kind way at the same time. So I don't think you are at all stingy with your energy or the things that you have to give. But now it's like you've established your boundaries, you have created that sense of balance. And I feel like that just adds to your glow. Because there's like a part of that that is like valuing yourself and realizing that you are valuable and just as worthy of receiving as others are. And with the Four of Swords, it could be that you've learned a lot of this through your own meditation, your own self-reflection periods, maybe with your spiritual journey. Yeah. I I want to see what's underneath that Four of Swords. It's the Five of Cups again. How interesting. Yeah, so maybe it was like that giving and giving and giving to your own detriment added, or it created this Five of Cups energy of you just feeling very disappointed, drained, pessimistic. Since that's shown up a couple of times on the bottom of the deck, I want to see what's underneath that. Four of Cups, how interesting. Honestly, the Four of Cups is a card that I sometimes see as a card of boundaries or boundary setting. So it's like once you've drained your emotions through giving, giving, giving without any sense of balance, it's like now you're stepping into that energy of like, you know, like, no. Saying no, honestly. That could have been a huge thing for you. It was like, I feel like you're no longer afraid to say no, and maybe at one point in your life you were afraid of saying no. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with saying no, especially if you know that something is too much for you, or that you're giving to a detriment, or you're not receiving any sort of payoff, payback for the work that you're investing into something. Yeah, so it's like you had to go through some rough emotional stuff in order to see things more clearly and create those healthy boundaries with others in your life. But again, it's just adding more to that glow. And it's that glow of knowing your own value. Yeah. Okay, let's go on to the Knight of Wands now. Please and thank you, Spirit. What do we have for that Knight of Wands for the collective? What contributes to the collective's glow? You know, the glow. Anything else for that Knight of Wands? Okay, let's see. So we have the Four of Cups came out. Clarify that Knight of Wands. And then we have the Two of Pentacles. And then we have the Tower. So we have double confirmation of the Tower here. You have a very... you have a powerful presence about you, which I think we already kind of established, especially with that Emperor card that we saw earlier. But that Tower card, there's like something packs a punch. When you're like in the room, you can't, like, people can't ignore you. Yeah, there's something about that. Like you shake up other people's lives, and you could even blow other people's minds. Maybe with the way that you act or the things that you say. So this is all clarifying the Knight of Wands, and that's usually a more creative, passionate energy. You could be very passion driven when it comes to the things that are important to you, the things that you like to go towards in life. You may like to feed your That's too funny. Now there is literally a white feather floating down the river that is very visible to me. I think that these are swan feathers potentially, because I did see swans up river before I started this, I think. So swans could also be a sign, I guess. Which, that would also go with the cardinal message potentially, because swans, I do believe, mate for life. So could be something around that. But anyways, yeah, so the Knight of Wands, there's like that passionate, fiery energy that you give off. And it also feels like there's a sense of determination as well with that Knight of Wands. But then that Four of Cups here is like, yes, you are establishing those boundaries with other people. You're learning what is too much, you know? Because also that's another thing too, is like sometimes we need to go through those moments of maybe putting too much on our plate or doing too much for other people. And that's a way for us to learn, okay, this is my limit. Or, you know, wherever that is on this journey, you discover those, like, where do I need to put these boundaries up? What kind of, yeah, like what kind of boundaries do I need to establish, etc. for my own health and happiness, because that's with that Four of Cups. I feel like there's something about your happiness that is I almost feel like that's taken into consideration now, whereas maybe before you didn't really consider your own happiness. You thought maybe that other people's happiness mattered more than your own, but now it's like that's turning around for you. I also do get with the wands, there is more of like this sense of like knowing your own value and like the confidence that can come from that. With the Two of Pentacles, there was like this period of being imbalanced, and then you figured out a way to be balanced. Okay, yeah. And okay, I think I see what this is saying now, because then it's like the Tower card. I think you blew people's minds by figuring out this place of balance, and now you're like this person that's establishing boundaries, focusing on what you want to do with your life, creating that sense of balance, creating those boundaries, and this is blowing people's minds. And I feel like this is specifically blowing the minds of people that may have wanted to take advantage of your kindness, your lack of boundaries, your lack of balance. I feel like you have shaken a lot of people to their core now that you have figured out where your boundaries, what your boundaries are, how to establish them with others, and you keep that sense of balance within yourself. And so it's like then this Tower moment happens to these people where they're like, I thought this person was going to stay a doormat for the rest of their life, and now what am I supposed to do? Kind of thing, where it's like people weren't expecting you to have this growth in your journey, your life. They weren't expecting you to realize your own worth and your own value, which is really sad that these are the types of people that may have been in your life at one point. But all of that said, it creates that glow now, because now you know your own value, you know what is important to you, you know what drives you, you have created that sense of balance within you. And I also feel like with the Tower card, because you have those things in place, it's almost like not much can shake you like it may have done in the past. Like I feel like you've gone through so many moments of Tower moments probably, where things are just kind of chaotic and stuff, but you're really level-headed, I want to say, when it comes to change and unexpected things taking place. And I think that also comes back to that sense of confidence that you've built within yourself. And I also like to remind people that confidence isn't what, sometimes we think confidence is, which is really more based in the ego of like, oh, I'm the coolest person to ever exist, or, I'm the most beautiful person that ever existed ever, And it's more so just knowing who you are and kind of standing behind that. Being like, I stand for this, this, and this. I know that about myself. I know that these are parts of my personality. It's really just about knowing yourself and accepting yourself that builds that confidence. And that's really true confidence, in my opinion. Yeah, so let's see what at the bottom of the deck. Two of Wands. You could be somebody that likes to make plans for your future. You really like to maybe be creative with your plan making, but also there could be something about passion playing a part in these plans that you're making for yourself for your future. Yeah, it's like I definitely do feel like passion drives you to some extent. And maybe it's passion for a specific thing, such as like human rights, things that are really important to you. I also feel this sense of like, you're really good at like reflecting on things within yourself, and maybe even noticing certain blind spots within you, or noticing where you need to improve upon, or what you need to improve upon within yourself. And maybe it's because you have such a good reflective energy. You're not afraid of self-reflection. and you see how it only makes you stronger. And maybe it even builds your confidence more the more you kind of reflect on these things. And you also show yourself like a little bit of like self-control through that process of reflecting and being like, okay, these are the things that I would like to work on. These are the things that I would like to accept about myself. You know, those kinds of like, it's kind of like, like say you have a house of roommates. It's kind of like having a house meeting to kind of just establish, okay, who's going to be doing the chores this week, who's going to be doing what, whatever, like divvying up everything so that it's equal give and take and whatnot. But it's kind of like doing that, but it's all within you. So it's like, yeah, it feels like it's like something that's important to do, like just as important as those house meetings for those roommates in that example. But it's really just you self-reflecting and being like, okay, maybe this week we can work on these things, or, whatever. It doesn't have to be specifically those timelines and examples, but I think you understand what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I feel like something about that is very, maybe unique about you, and people really like that. Also, maybe when people are making plans for the future, they'd like to consult you about it, because maybe you're really good at planning things. I don't know exactly what that looks like, but it could be something that maybe your friends really appreciate about you. You could also be like, maybe if you go on like vacation with your friends or something, or you take a trip with your friends, maybe you're the person that kind of works out the schedule of like, like let's do this and then let's do that and all that stuff. I want to see what's underneath that Two of Wands. Four of Swords. So yeah, I do think that you have like this ability to reflect, self-reflect, of course. And I feel like there's something about finding the wisdom, because it's almost like, how do I even word? Sometimes I get like these messages and I'm like, how do I even put that into human words? Because it's like, I feel like if there's ever moments when you don't really know what to do or what the next step is, or those kinds of things, moments of confusion, you've learned through experience that, hey, if I take a step back and I just kind of focus on my self-care, focus on rest, focus on caring for myself, maybe through doing that, these answers kind of just naturally kind of bubble up to the surface, and I'm like, oh, okay, now I know what I can focus on. Now I know which direction to take in my journey. Yeah, you're incredibly wise. And I feel like, again, it has a lot to do with your own experiences that have created this wisdom within you. Beautiful, really beautiful. Okay, let's go on to the Knight of Swords, please, and thank you, Spirit. What about this Knight of Swords? I feel like that's way too many. What about this Knight of Swords is contributing to the collective's glow? Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let's take the ones that flipped. That flipped. Flipped it flipped. Beautiful. Okay. Clarifying that Knight of Swords, we have the Star card. Beautiful. Eight of Wands. The Moon card. Seven of Cups. Bottom of the deck we have the Page of Swords. I did see, because it started to shift and it started to reveal the Devil underneath, but then it also started to shift and show, where is it? The Justice card. So Page of Swords with the Devil card and the Justice card. You've done a lot of like self-reflection when it comes to those darker aspects to yourself, maybe your shadow self. You've done a lot of shadow work potentially, and this has probably created that sense of balance within yourself. You could have been really hesitant at first to dig into that sort of side of yourself, but I feel like you've turned out like you're all the better for it, that kind of expression. Like it all worked out in the end and only made you stronger, only made you more aware of yourself and all of its many facets. I'm gonna just take a sip of my water real quick. I do be talking. The Knight of Swords, we have the Star, Eight of Wands. Oh, I think this is a side message that I'm getting right now. So I will apply it to like how this is, you know, about your glow, but get ready for something happening in your life that you do not see coming. Because the Knight of Swords, that is the fastest moving knight in the deck, and that's typically somebody that's coming forward with a message. And the Star card, I feel like this is very much you. And I love the Star card in this sort of context of like you being a star in your own right, but it kind of speaks to the humbleness of being you. Like you're both a star, but also very humble. There's something about how you kind of just see yourself as just doing what you do. And maybe you don't really see the full extent of the impact that you create with what you do. I feel like you kind of just naturally have this energy and presence to you that is very important. There's something about like, I feel like there's something very integral about you, like very important about you being here on this earth, doing what you do. And I feel like it just comes very naturally to you. Or maybe people kind of perceive it that way. Even if it doesn't feel effortless on your end, it's like you kind of just show up and kind of just, I don't know. I'm getting a vision of like Persephone, where it's like she comes out of the underworld. I don't know what the word for it is. Is it Greek mythology? But anyways, I'm thinking of like the old cartoon, and like I think there's like a moment where she comes out and like she just like touches like, you know, the earth and it starts to like bloom with flowers and stuff. I feel like that's kind of what people kind of see you as. It's just somebody that kind of brings about life naturally. Maybe you're a creator of some sort. Maybe you create something very special. There's something that breathes life into things about you. I don't know. There's just something very beautiful about your energy. But yeah, your energy I feel like is being very much spotlighted. Pretty much you're in the spotlight and people are noticing your natural abilities, or maybe not your natural abilities, maybe these are abilities that you've worked on, practice on, and stuff like that, but people see what you do and they're digging it and they see that there's something very special about you and what you're doing here. And that is being recognized, and I think that's what this Knight of Swords could be indicating, this side message here. Somebody coming forward to express how special they think you are. And the Eight of Wands furthers that point, I think, because the Eight of Wands can also be a card of communication, incoming communication, and quick incoming communication, typically positive communication. And then the Moon card, I feel like maybe when you like receive this communication, you're just like, why does this person want to reach out to me? Why am I getting this message? Why is this happening all of a sudden? Because it's almost like you don't see this coming and then it comes in and you're just like, wait, what? But it's all part of your path here. If you see the path in the Moon card, it's like this is meant for you. This is along your path, your journey. This is what's meant to happen for you. And the Seven of Cups, I feel like, is this moment of you realizing that you have options. You have, it feels like there's like doors opening up to you, and it could even be overwhelming to an extent. And you're just like, oh, wait, because it's like you have like the whole world opening up to you, and you're just like, I wasn't expecting this. Like, this is sudden, this is unexpected. But this is all good and positive, and it's all for your journey, your growth, you going towards your destiny here. There's something about heaven or the cosmos. So maybe some people see you as an earth angel, or that you're like out of this world in some way. Yeah, like you just have a very special energy to you. Okay, now I'm going to apply this to how this translates to your glow, because I think that was more so a side message that you're going to be getting some sort of incoming communication about something opening up for you because of what you're doing. But to apply this to your glow, honestly, that star card I think is kind of the epitome of this glow that people see about you. There's something about you being very focused on what you do. Like, not a lot can distract you from your purpose. Not a lot can distract you from the things that you have decided you are going to do. Like, it's almost like when you put your mind to it, nothing can steer you off that path because you've made up your mind. And then with the Eight of Wands, people could see you as somebody that communicates in a very efficient way. Again, there's like that feeling of like you being kind with your words. But there's something really exciting with the Eight of Wands where it's like you could have a way of speaking that excites people. Like you could literally just be talking about anything, and it's just like the way you say it though is like, oh my gosh, this is exciting. I can't believe, like, you know, like you get people hyped. You could be a hype man for like people, like, you know, when people need a boost to their, you know, whatever, if they're having a bad day and they just need a little bit of a pep talk or a boost or something, you're really good at being that person for others. You also help to, there's something about like your growth translating to other people's growth. I feel like you inspire a lot of people because they see how you have grown in your own personal journey, and then you inspire people to also grow. Beautiful. With the Moon card in this context, I feel like maybe there's a little bit of like a, not necessarily a secretive energy. I mean, that could be a thing, but I feel like more so it's just like there's certain parts to you that not everybody gets to see. There is something that's a little bit more hidden, but it feels like more so it's just that these are the types of things that people would learn through getting to know you. Like, I don't think they're like under lock and key or anything, but it's just like there's a little bit of air of mystery to you that I feel like it kind of intrigues people. They want to know, like, what's, oh, interesting. I actually just got the message of like, who are you behind closed doors? And I suppose that could be associated with something more schmexual, but not necessarily. I think people just want to know, like, you know, what are you like off the clock? Like, what are you like when you're just chilling with your family or hanging out with your friends? Like, what's your sense of humor? Like, what do you like to do in your free time? Like, people just want to know more about you. And I feel like that adds to your glow because it's like, here's this dazzling, glowing individual, but there's something that I'm not seeing. There's something more to this person that I don't see on the surface. And so it just makes me curious. It just, you know, makes me want to learn more. And then the Seven of Cups. You could definitely be multi-talented, and that's something that people really see in you, and they also really very much admire. You could be a dabbler. You could also be like jack of all trades, master of none sort of person, because I personally identify with that. Yeah, it could be something like that, where it's like you're multi-talented, you like to dabble in different things. You could have like a very wide range of interest as well. So it's like people may think they can kind of put you into one box, but then it's like, oh wait, here they, you know, like something that's completely not in that box. So it's like, okay, they don't fit in that box. Maybe they fit in this box, but it's like, no, they don't fit in that box either. And it's like they're a combination of all these boxes, you know? It's like all these boxes come together to create your image. yeah, pretty much people cannot pin you down to be like one specific thing. And maybe that irritates some people, but I feel like more than that, probably most people are just like very impressed by like just how complex you are, how you're so, I'm getting diverse, like you're diverse within yourself. So maybe you have like very diverse interests where it's just like, you know, things that seem completely unrelated, but yet they still intrigue you to some extent. Very cool. You just have like such an like unique energy to you that I feel like people don't see every day. So that adds to your glow, you know? And actually, this kind of goes perfectly with that message of like you dabbling in things or, you know, having multiple interests, because I sometimes see the Page of Swords as a curious spirit, somebody that loves to learn, somebody that just cannot get enough of learning about different things, learning about specific topics. Maybe you have certain like hyperfixations that are just like, you know, that's your thing where you're just like, oh, I love learning about this subject. Like if anybody ever asks me about this specific subject, I know I got all of the knowledge on that subject. It's kind of a silly energy, but you're very intellectual. You're very like, I feel like your brain is very much like a sponge. You soak up information, especially if it's something about like a topic of interest. But there's just a general curiosity that you have for life, for people, for experiences, for learning. Let's see what's underneath that Page of Swords. Seven of Pentacles. It's funny because when I was getting the cards for this Knight of Swords, this one almost came out, but it decided not to. You're patient with your own growth. That's a rare thing. Not everybody is patient with themselves, but you show patience towards yourself and your growth, and you believe in yourself to some extent. You believe that something will eventually pay off, even if it takes time. And that's, I feel like a big indicator that you're very wise, because you understand that things take time, especially if there's something that you want to keep long term. Because sure, some things can show up overnight, but then they can also disappear overnight as well. And maybe you've come to this realization where it's like things need time to develop so that that proper sturdy foundation can be built, so that it does last long or last for longer. But yeah, there's like this you have a sense of a vision for yourself, and you know what is worth investing in, and you're okay with the journey. You know, I think you accept that these things are a journey and that they're not all about getting to the end goal or end result as quickly as possible, because maybe through your own experiences you've realized that that's not necessarily a good thing. You are a very wise person. I think that's also another thing that just contributes to this glow that you have, is just like people like, I almost feel like people marvel at the things that you say. You could also be very what's the word, unassuming, or people don't quite expect you to hold all of this knowledge and wisdom within yourself. So when you open your mouth, people are just like how do you know all that? You know, maybe you're also like one of those old souls where it's like you show up in a way physically, because like so many people judge based off of appearances, unfortunately. So maybe you show up in a way that's very youthful and stuff, and so people kind of make certain assumptions like, oh, you know, this person's not very experienced or wise or whatever. But then you open your mouth and you talk and people are just like, oh, did not see that coming. Okay, let's go into the Tower card here now. Please and thank you, Spirit. What about this Tower card is contributing to the glow of the Hive Collective? Yes, the Hive Collective's glow. What is this Tower card talking about here? What is it talking about? Don't you dare fly away. Do not. Don't even think about it. Okay, so clarifying that Tower card, we have the Wheel of Fortune, the Seven of Pentacles, Ace of Swords, Four of Wands. Bottom of the deck is the Hierophant. Okay, another side message. I'm just gonna say there is something here about potential romance. I'm just gonna say I think you've caught somebody's eye, and they would like to express that to you. Or this could just be something that's going to be taking place at some point in your life. Or if you're already in a connection, could be that it's strengthening, or maybe you're renewing that sense of yeah, like maybe it's like reigniting that passion you feel for your partner, if you've been together for quite some time or something along those lines. Let me take another sip. Sorry about my hair looking absolutely insane. As you can tell, it's windy. So if I look like I have a comb over, that's why. Yeah, so that Tower card, I was saying that you blow a lot of people's minds. There's also something about the way you shake people to their core. And I feel like this is simply through you interacting with them. Like even people that you don't even talk to for that long of a amount of time. Like you could literally just have like one single conversation with someone and you change their complete outlook on life. Like you literally can blow people's minds. You can shake them. You can shake people out of a state of indifference. So you could be somebody that really speaks about things that truly matter. You could be somebody that's like very much vocal about like the injustices that are taking place, the things that are happening in this country and in the world. And it's like you have a way of speaking that gets people fired up and they want to do something. So it's like people that are maybe typically very apathetic about these types of things that are happening, you make them want to care. And that's very unique. I feel like not everybody has that talent, skill, ability. I don't even know what to do with my hair. It's like, I don't know if it should go up or down, but we'll see. But yeah, so that's what I'm getting with that Tower card. And then it's like, with the Wheel of Fortune, again, there's something about knowledge, and this could even be divine knowledge, like your knowledge of the divine or of spirit or of your own spirituality. It allows you to see things from a like wiser, more broadened perspective. You can see the big picture much more, whereas maybe in your past you couldn't quite see that, so maybe you were more confused or more caught up in like day-to-day things. But yeah, this Wheel of Fortune I feel like is also indicating potentially that you... Oh, this card just keeps flying off. Okay. Weigh it down. But yeah, this Wheel of Fortune I feel like is speaking about... You go with the flow of life much easier than you used to, maybe. Because it's like you understand that there's a natural balance to the universe where it's like sometimes, oh, I feel like that's a song. It's like sometimes you're high, sometimes you're low. Kind of something along those lines, I don't remember. But yeah, you understand that, you know, sometimes you're going to be, you know, winning, and sometimes you're going to be, I don't want to say losing necessarily, but like, you know, not accomplishing the same things that you wanted or something. Like you're gonna have times in which you have good luck and times in which you feel like you kind of have a bad luck. But it's like, you know, your wisdom gives you a sense of like, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with, you know, that balance, you know? And it's like, maybe you realize that we kind of need sadness in order to feel happiness. We kind of need darkness in order to appreciate lightness, you know? There's just so much wisdom, and you're super connected to the divine. I don't even know if you're aware of how strong your connection to the divine is, but it's just like unmistakable. And then that Seven of Pentacles is like, I feel like that kind of goes perfectly with that message I was getting with the Wheel of Fortune, where it's like, yeah, like you are able to roll with things much easier. You're able to be patient with the natural process of things. Um, just overall, you have like this ability to kind of maybe even be objective to a certain degree, where you can kind of take a step back and get a little less removed from the emotion of things, and you're just like, when you kind of look at things from a more logical perspective or a little bit more of a detached perspective, you're like, okay, so I can kind of see where this is going, or, you know, I understand that this is going to take some time, or, you know, whatever. I feel like you make actions that are very well thought out. But it's like you also know like when to act and when not to act, because you have that like, maybe it's through your intuition that you kind of get these like feedbacks from the divine, where it's like, you know, part of that back and forth balance, where it's like maybe you feel super overwhelmed and you're like, I don't know what to do, but then it's like maybe you've kind of learned that when you feel like that, the best thing to do is to take care of yourself, rest, take care of yourself, and then come back to it later on when you're refreshed, and then you can see things much more clearly. That could be a message for somebody out there in general too. If you've been feeling that way, maybe it's time to just care for yourself, take some rest, and then things will become much more clearer so that you can make a level-headed decision on something. With the Ace of Swords, I feel like this talks about how your mind is brilliant. You have really interesting ideas. The way you express your ideas is very intriguing to people. People like to hear what you have to say. People like to hear what you're thinking about. Because it could even be that you have such a specific, unique way of thinking about things that people, yeah, they want to know. They want to know what's going on inside your noggin. And with the Four of Wands, the Four of Wands can be a card of union, and so can that Hierophant card that's at the bottom of the deck. So that's where I was mostly getting that sense of maybe there's somebody trying to come into union with you, or at least they see you as somebody that would be a perfect partner for such a thing. But yeah, with the Four of Wands, you appreciate the small things, is what I'm getting with that. Like, and I mean that like when you accomplish something, even if it seems very small according to societal expectations, or social pressures or whatever, like maybe I didn't buy a new car, but I did you know, maybe I got sober over the last year, and that's a huge accomplishment, you know? Like, so there's like other things that, you know, aren't as Instagrammable, I guess. You know, it doesn't look so good on an Instagram post as much as a new car would, but it still is important. And you realize that even the smallest little things that you are accomplishing, that you're overcoming, that you are just doing with your life, they matter, and they deserve to be just as celebrated as those big wins. I also feel this sense of like you also inspire other people to kind of think the same way about their own accomplishments. You could even be somebody that's like, you know, talking to somebody like a friend or whatever, and they mention, yeah, I'm 2 years sober, blah 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 blah, but they didn't like, you know, and then you're like, wait, you're 2 years sober? That is amazing. You should be so proud of yourself. Like, that's the energy I get from you. It's like you like to boost up people whenever possible. And you like to remind people, like, that is worth celebrating. Even though you may think it's no big deal, that is a huge deal. And so you make people happy through that. And I feel like that just contributes to your glow, because there's just like, it's like because you celebrate those things within yourself, you can it's much easier for you to celebrate those things for other people as well. And people just appreciate that so much about you. Because it's like you're a team player. You want to lift up not only yourself, but everybody with you. And that makes such a big impact. And that means the world to some people. Most people, probably. Because who doesn't like to feel appreciated or feel like, you know what, yeah, that is a big deal, you know, I did achieve a lot, you know? And then the Hierophant at the bottom of the deck, this could also just be a card of you being incredibly wise, people going to you for the knowledge that you have. You know, what kind of things can you teach other people? Maybe there's some sort of experience that you've had that you can help other people go through that like difficult experience or whatever, because you've gone through it yourself. Also, the Hierophant is a spiritual person, so it could even have something to do with your spiritual knowledge, the things you've learned along your spiritual journey. I feel like people seek you out for your wisdom, seek you out for your knowledge. Maybe just seek you out for your experiences and like how you did it. Like, how did you get through that moment in your life? And I feel like you're kind of like an open book in a lot of ways. I don't think that you like gatekeep anything, especially information. I feel like you're like, yeah, if you need some of this information, like here you go. Like, because it's like, again, it's about raising everyone, not just yourself. And that is part of what, you know, creates that beautiful glow that people perceive. Let's see what's underneath that Hierophant. Eight of Swords, how interesting. Honestly, with the Eight of Swords and the Hierophant, I almost feel like people that feel stuck, maybe in their own lives, maybe in their own heads, people that overthink a lot or can't see things quite clearly, they go to you because you can see the big picture. You can see maybe the silver lining or the light at the end of the tunnel, or like the positives in a given situation that maybe that person, because they're too close to whatever it is, they don't see those parts, but you can. And so maybe they go to you because they know that you're able to see the parts that they can't see. And they can get like knowledge and wisdom through that, yeah. Yeah, so you help a lot of people get unstuck. A lot of people that feel trapped, stuck, maybe even overwhelmed, they go to you and they feel so much better afterwards. And they feel like, oh, okay, I can get out of this situation. I can overcome this. All that kind of stuff. It's very beautiful energy. Okay, let's go into the Six of Cups, please, and thank you, Spirit. So honestly, with that Six of Cups, right off the bat, I'm just getting that, you know, the Six of Cups can do a lot with like nostalgia and reflecting on like the good moments you share with people. So I feel like a lot of people reflect on the good moments that they've shared with you. And I feel like that's probably a lot of people because you affect everyone in a positive way, it feels like. And it probably has something to do with your lovely heart here. The way you just show love for people. I want to say for your fellow man, so it's like, I feel like you could be a humanitarian for sure. What about the Six of Cups is contributing to this, to the Hive Collective's glow? Anything else? Ooh. Ooh. I like that. So, clarifying that Six of Cups, we have the World card and the Queen of Cups. So yes, you are the embodiment of love. Also, you could be like, and this is regardless of gender, but you could be like the mom of the friend group, I'm getting, like where you just like to be prepared. Like for me personally, I like to have like things in my bag that could be useful, such as like pain reliever or Tums or, you know, stuff like that, where it's just like, you know, if I'm out and about and, you know, I need something, it's nice to have it in my bag, but also when I'm with my friends, if they need something, I have it, you know, kind of thing. So you could be very much that kind of friend where you kind of just like to have things on you to be useful for other people, and for yourself probably as well. But you definitely have a heart of gold. Like, I'm getting that you are just as beautiful on the outside as you are on the inside. And that's meant to be in the best way possible. Because people just, I feel like people just naturally love you. And it's because you naturally love others as well. Also, you could, if I could talk, You could be somebody that, oh, the sun's coming out. Let me cover up my phone to keep it from overheating. Yeah. But yeah, so you could show people too, like, unconditional love. And maybe teach people unconditional love. Like, by simply just being here, alive, on this planet, you deserve love. Just simply by being a human, simply by having a pulse, you are deserving of love. That kind of thing. And that's something that I feel like a lot of people don't hear, and definitely don't hear enough of in their lifetimes, is that they are worthy of love, of support, of patience, all the good things. But you help people see that. There is something about your energy being quite angelic. People may... You're like so enlightened. There's something very airy and light about your energy. And it feels like it's coming as a result of your connection to spirit, or the fact that you have overcome a lot of things. You've leveled up in such big ways. It's like there's an airiness, a lightness to your energy that people just love. I just want to double check to make sure I'm still recording, because I get paranoid. Yes, I am. Okay. But yeah, there's just something very light and angelic about your energy, your aura. I'm not saying that you're perfect, because obviously everybody's human, and humans by default are imperfect. But there are definitely people that could, especially people that like reminisce on moments that they've shared with you. There are certain people that probably think that you could do no wrong. And I mean, that's kind of a message, because it's like, I don't mean to feed anybody's egos here, or put anybody on a pedestal or anything. But like, certain people that interact with you could definitely like reflect on you and be like, this person is like just too good, too perfect. It's like, they could never do anything wrong. They could, I don't know if I'm articulating that correctly, but that's kind of what I'm getting, is like this sense of certain people reflecting on their past with you and thinking of you as like an angel, like an earth angel. I also feel like people from your past probably just kind of idealize you in general, even people that may have at one point taken you for granted. In hindsight, they look back on it and they're just like, wow, I'm such an idiot for messing that up. Or, how could I have let that slip through my fingers? Like, how could I have taken that for granted when that was in my life? I feel like you definitely have people from your past that regret a lot about fumbling you. So you could be somebody that, has exes reaching out to you or something. People from your past wanting to reconnect with you because they have this memory of you being such a light in their life. Beautiful. Bottom of the deck with that 3 of Pentacles. I feel like that is very much indicating that you are a team player. You are very much somebody that can work very well with others. I mean, I don't want to say that as a blanket statement, because, certain people can be very hard to work with, even if you are like the kindest person, the most understanding person. Some people can just be, purposely difficult, so it's not that every single time you work with others it's perfect and everything works out perfectly, but just you're very good typically with working working with others. And it's like something about the way you relate to others. You speak to people in a way that is like you see them, you understand them, and then it's like that creates a level of a foundation, and then you can build beautiful things with that person on top of that. Yeah. But people love and appreciate that about you. It's like, yes, if I need to have somebody on my team to work on this project, I want the Hive Collective. I want these people to be on my team because I know that we would be successful because, you know, it would be good. Yeah. I want to see what's underneath that Three of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles. So, Pentacles for sure. Oh, and then the Ace of Pentacles is sliding down to reveal the Page of Swords. You have a way of like starting things, starting new beginnings with other people, and I almost feel like you may inspire other people to start new, or to start a new project, or to do something maybe outside of their comfort zone. And maybe people are hesitant at first, but they ultimately trust you enough to be like, you know what, maybe I should, you know, try this new thing. If the collective thinks that I am talented enough to try it, maybe I will. Maybe I will try it. You could also like help point out people's skills. Maybe you are able to kind of see other people's abilities, skills, talents, etc. And maybe they don't even realize that about themselves. It's like people that would typically be afraid of starting something new or starting over or whatever. You have a way of maybe wording things, inspiring people to not be afraid of new beginnings and to be excited about new beginnings and to embrace new beginnings. Because it's almost like it's like instead of worrying what if, you inspire people to be excited about what if, you know? Yeah, that's beautiful. Let's go on to the Six of Swords now, please and thank you, Spirit. What about this is contributing to the collective's glow? The Hive Collective's glow, you know, with that Six of Swords. Okay, so which one? I think it was these two that popped out first. So we have the King of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, Ace of Wands, the Chariot, King of Wands, Eight of Pentacles, Three of Swords. Bottom of the deck we have the Knight of Pentacles. Okay. So there's a lot of kings in this reading, a lot of knights in this reading. I do think that you are attracting a lot of people towards you during this time, and you may have people reaching out to you, communicating with you. You also may just be very popular during this time, and maybe it has something to do with that glow that you're emitting. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of attention on you, but it's positive. It feels very much very positive. Maybe there's something about you getting recognized for something that you're doing. So the Six of Swords, that's all about moving away from something that's pretty tumultuous into something that may offer more peace, more hope, opportunity. And I feel like that probably speaks a lot to your own journey. How you have had to leave behind a lot of painful experiences in the hope that wherever you're going is going to be more hopeful, optimistic. And I feel like that really inspires other people that you're able to do that. Okay, let's look at these cards now in relation to the Six of Swords. There's something with that King of Pentacles about like you helping people to see that they have stability, security within them. That no matter where you're going, what you're doing, you can always create that peace within, and nobody can ever take that from you. It's like once you've established that peace within, nobody can shake you from it, nobody can steer you off of it. Yeah. I feel like you very much help empower other people. And it's like, you're not even talking in terms of like hypotheticals or theoreticals. It's more like, I know that this is possible because I have been through it. And it's like, maybe you're like, I've been exactly where you are right now. And let me tell you, it gets better. Like, there's something so inspirational about the way in which you talk, the way you perceive things or think about things. It's very nice and optimistic. Actually, the Ace of Cups kind of hits me with that sense of optimism as well. Because you just have so much love for others, or just love for life, like just love in general. You just have such a beautiful heart. And you just want to help so many people. So you're like always trying to show up in a way that's kind and giving and understanding. And you just have so much love. It feels like it really overflows when it comes to you. Um, some people may even wonder where it comes from, you know, especially if they hear about your past. It's like, how do you keep showing up in this loving, warm energy all the time? It's just, I think it astonishes people, really. Because it's almost like I only thought that people like you existed in comic books or, you know, whatever. Fictional characters, but no, here you are. You also are just somebody that brings a lot of peace and healing. The vibe you bring to the function is peace and healing. How cute. But that's true. I feel like that's true. Like, that's probably why people want to invite you to the function, is because they know that your vibes are immaculate and they're just like, you know, wherever this person goes, they're going to bring that light and, you know, sense of harmony and love wherever they go. And so it's like, yeah, I want to invite them to the function. Yeah. And then the Ace of Wands. This could have something to do with, I feel like there's something about this where it's like you can help. Well, there's like multiple different messages I'm getting with it. So the first one is that came to mind was like maybe something along the lines of, you can help people see how attractive they are. Like, even people that may not align with certain societal expectations of beauty, um, or standards of beauty, there's something about you recognizing each and everybody's beautiful aspects, like their beautiful qualities. And that is so something that's very special. And I feel like you help people feel very special, very beautiful. But also, there's like this, you may also encourage people to find their passion. You may encourage people to create, to grow. It's like you really do show people what is possible. And a lot of these people, I feel like, have never seen things from this perspective before. The Chariot card, I feel like this is talking about leading by example. Um, Something about like going where no man has gone before. And it's like you're not afraid of going where no one else has gone before, because you see the potential in that path, in that journey. And so you inspire other people to do the same thing, to go where no man has ever gone before. Also, there could be something that's connected to your destiny, movement in connection to your destiny. So maybe your destiny, or what you believe to be your purpose, your destiny in life, has needed you to take action when necessary. And so maybe you kind of inspire people by kind of showing them that, you know, action is necessary to manifest your dreams, but it doesn't have to be scary. Beautiful. And then the King of Wands, I feel like that is like this empowered, confident energy, passionate, fired up, ready to go, focused. Yeah, I feel like you help people to become more confident. And again, you help people to feel fired up for something. And it feels like it's for a cause, like a good cause. You help people get excited about these types of things. You help people want to act when it comes to certain things, especially like important things. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles. You're a very hard worker, and people see you as somebody that is a master at your craft, or maybe even just in general, whatever you put your mind to, people know that you're going to rock it. You know, you're going to absolutely, you know, do that thing the best, you know? Well, I don't want to say the best because that feels like it's comparing you to other people, but more so just like you, whatever you put your mind to, you can accomplish. And that's something that comes through your energy, and people find that very inspiring. With the Three of Swords, so there's a couple of things that we could probably take away from this message. And I feel like, honestly, I feel like because you have gone through pain yourself, you know how to relate to people that are going through a hard time. But you're also here to show people that it does get better, and it will get better. And I feel like you have this way of telling people this, especially when they need to hear it the most. So yeah, you're probably very much somebody that is very good to have when someone's going through like a breakup or something. It's like, yeah, they want to call you. They want to talk to you about it because you're going to have some words of wisdom to share with them. You're going to help people to see the bright side, or that this is not the end of the road, you know, like there's still more to come. And again, things will get better. And then that Knight of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, you are a planner. I think we've mentioned that before. But you know how to, like, maybe you have a lot of good foresight where it's like you can foresee maybe possible obstacles before they arise, or difficulties, challenges. You think things through very well, and it helps you to take maybe direct action or focused action. Also, you're good with like knowing what is worth investing in, what is not, what will pay off, what will not. And you shared that wisdom with others, I feel. Also, nobody can make you move before you want to move, if that makes any sense. Like, again, there's something about like influences, outside influences don't really affect you that much. Whereas maybe other people would listen more so to what other people have to say, what other people think of their journey, what other people say is the best thing to do. Whereas you just listen to your inner compass, and you cannot be shaken from your inner compass. Like, it's very hard to distract you from that, or to convince you something other than what you have kind of decided on, if that makes any sense. I want to see what's underneath that Knight of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles. To me, that hits me as like you hold on to the things that do make a good impact or maybe still serve you, and then you're also aware of the things that no longer serve you, like what is worth shedding, what is worth keeping. You also may be somebody that kind of helps other people that may be kind of closed off, kind of in their shell. You help them to feel comfortable to come out of their shell a little bit more, to open up. Like you create some sense of a safe space for other people to open up more. Even people that may have thought that they would never open up, you know? Okay, let's go into the King of Swords. Yeah, so This is way past a quickie at this point, but whatever. It was meant to happen. Anything else about that King of Swords? What is it about this King of Swords that's contributing to the glow? The glow of the collective. The glow of the collective here. The Hive Collective glow. Ooh, ooh. Okay. So, side message. This King of Swords, I think, is somebody sketchy. That may be wanting to come in towards you. Just a little bit of a side message there. And the reason I say that is because we have the Seven of Swords. This is usually a sneaky sort of person trying to get away with something. And the King of Swords came out to clarify the King of Swords. So Spirit did not want us to be confused about who this Seven of Swords is referring to. Spirit says it's referring to this King of Swords here. And there's probably, after I give you this side message, I'll give it the message of like how this relates to your glow, but I feel like this message needs to come through first, where it's like somebody most likely from your past who did something suspicious, did something sketchy, did something that they knew they weren't supposed to, tried to maybe even mentally manipulate you in some regard, or play mind games with you to some extent. They could be trying to come back in, but it doesn't feel positive. And then the Ten of Wands. So this could even be somebody from your past that made you feel overburdened, or made you feel like you weren't enough and that you had to keep doing and doing and doing in order to earn this person's love or something. I feel like this person was a burden on you in the past. And then this Three of Pentacles fell out in a very strange way. I almost thought it was going to end up in the reverse, but then it ended up upright. So I think I'll read it both ways though. So Three of Pentacles upright, they would probably want to work with you to build something. But in the reverse, I feel like I get the message of maybe this is somebody that has maybe already established a foundation with someone else, already built something with someone else elsewhere. Definitely feels like this could be somebody that is trying to hide something from you, not be quite honest here. And the bottom of the deck is the Four of Pentacles. So with this context, this is probably somebody that is holding on to something that doesn't serve them anymore. It really does feel like this could be somebody that, even if they're not with their ex, they could still hold on to their ex in some regard, and maybe to an unhealthy extent. So whether that be they still hook up from time to time, or they talk on a regular basis, they are never willing to cut off that ex because they still have some sort of attachment to them. There's something that this person may be hiding, just an FYI. But I don't know, with all of this clear, with this message being so crystal clear, I think you're going to be able to like see right through this person, and I don't think they're going to get very far if they're trying to manipulate you or trying to trick you into something here, because you're way smarter than that. So now to give you the other message of how this relates to your glow. I think you're incredibly intelligent, which we've already established throughout this reading, I would say. The way your mind works is very intriguing, unique. It opens up other people's minds. Like, you could definitely be somebody that opens up people's minds, even the types of people that are very close-minded and stuck in their ways. Also, the way you communicate is powerful. The way you think is powerful. The ideas you have are powerful. And there's something about truth that comes through with you. Maybe you like to pursue the truth, look for the truth. Which, it's so funny that and kind of ironic that I'm getting truth with the King of Swords when I got that first message of like somebody being sneaky and not telling you the truth. But yeah, when in terms of your energy, you have this very, like, you like to expose the truth. If you can get to the truth of things, maybe that's what you care about. And it doesn't even have to be like you want to get to the truth so that you can call out somebody. But maybe it's just like that's what's important to you, is just having the truth. And maybe you can feel like maybe neutral judgment on it and stuff. Like you're not going to judge those people for maybe being dishonest. Well, you could, but I don't know. There's like a maturity that comes with it from your perspective where it's like I kind of understand maybe. And maybe it's specifically certain types of truth where it's like you can kind of understand like, okay, this person may have just felt very unsafe, and because they felt unsafe, they felt like they had to create like a little white lie or something. I feel like you kind of have an understanding for human psychology that allows you to kind of understand where people are coming from, even if they, lie. Because I think that lying is typically something that develops as a result of feeling unsafe and feeling like the truth is unsafe to share or something. But anyways, yeah, you look for the truth, and I also feel like you can see the truth. You can see through things, even when it comes to people that are trying to lie to you. But I kind of like the Seven of Swords in this context of like what is contributing to your glow, because it's almost like you can play the players, and you can, like, people that think that they're pulling something over on you, you can see like 10 steps ahead of that person. So it's like you can see them coming from a mile away, and it's like they think that they're gonna be all sneaky, like, hey, 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 I'm gonna get away with this, but you already spotted them being deceitful or trying to get away with something. And so you've already taken maybe some sort of proactive change or something in order to take into consideration, like, oh, this person's trying to, F me over. Like, it's like you play the player. I don't know how else to say it. It's like people that think they're sneaky don't know who they're messing with, kind of thing. Because it's like you thought you were getting away with something, but I was one step ahead of you. That's it. That's the message. It's like people think they're getting away with something, but you're one step ahead of them. You've already seen, maybe the red flags, or, this person being dishonest or whatever, problematic tendencies even, and you're just like already taking that into consideration. You've already like formulated a plan, and maybe you've like somehow like avoided that deceit or something. But yeah, you're incredibly intelligent, and you see the truth. You see through people's lies and deceptions because you're just clear-headed. You can just see right through it. You can slice through to see the truth. And then with that 10 of Wands, in terms of how this relates to your glow, I think that you are an incredibly hard worker. You're not... you're definitely not lazy, and you're definitely not somebody that is unwilling to put in the work. Like, you're very much willing to step up to the plate and do what it takes to be successful, even if it takes a little bit of sweating in the meantime, or maybe a little bit difficult right now, but it's going to be worth it in the end. That's what I see here. And then with the Three of Pentacles, in terms of what contributes to your growth, or well, maybe your growth, but to your glow rather, you're very good at like getting everybody on the same page as you, especially when it comes to collaborations, working together. You have a way of like making sure that we all know what we're working for here, and what we want the end result to look like. You're very good with communicating to other people about expectations and meeting those expectations and stuff. You could also be a really good mediator, so you could even help like two different parties to come to terms with something or to be on the same page about something. And maybe you can see where other people are like miscommunicating, and you're able to kind of maybe word things in a specific way that allows those people to resolve their problems. I feel like you're very much a powerful mediator, for sure. And then that Four of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Oh, okay. So the message that comes through with this, and as in relation to what is contributing to your glow, I feel like you know what to hold close to you, or you know what to, keeping your cards to your chest or something. Not showing your cards, not revealing certain things. You know, like what you should sort of not reveal maybe quite yet, or, maybe if you're amongst certain company, you're like, okay, this person is not safe for me to open up about this plan I have or this idea I'm mulling over or something. Like, you have a really good like intuition about like, okay, should I share this bit of information, or is it going to be used against me? Or should I share this bit of information, or are people gonna talk me out of it if I try to share it? Like, you're very good about like kind of like navigating that. Yeah. Let's see what's underneath that Four of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles. You love to like explore things. Like, there's something about exploring things, and this could be specifically within your reality. So like exploring, like you could, I'm even getting a picture in my mind of like somebody going into the woods, and maybe like they take a new path, that they've never explored before. There could be something about you liking to explore things, liking to sort of go outside of your comfort zone and explore new things, and kind of like test things out for the first time. There's something very much about that here, where it's just like you're not afraid to explore, to open up, to adventure, to something new, something that you haven't done before or haven't explored before. You just have this openness about you, and it feels like you're just ready. And I feel like it just excites other people, and they're just like, oh my gosh, I love this about you. They like to be around you because you have like this adventurous sort of spirit to you, I feel. That's nice. Now let's look at the bottom of this deck. The Five of Pentacles. So you could come from a background of having a lot of insecurities, or feeling like a sense of lack in some regard, or maybe, hell, you could have been raised in an environment that made you feel like you were inherently lacking in something, or maybe your peers growing up made you feel like something was wrong with you, or whatever. But I feel like this has definitely been something that you've improved upon, and you no longer feel this way about yourself. Maybe you've even come to appreciate those things that were not appreciated before by others. Let's see what's underneath that Five of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles. See, with this one, it creates more of like a connective, or to me it speaks of community, because all of these like strings are connecting all the pentacles. To me, it gives me like this strong sense of community. I feel like you bring people together, maybe people of different backgrounds, understandings of things, different perceptions, perspectives. And it's like you see the beauty in diversity and coming together to create something very beautiful. You really do have like this beautiful outlook on things. Like you can see the potential in things, and it's beautiful. I want to see what's underneath that Four of Pentacles. Seven of Cups. So yeah, I think it's because you're multi-talented, and maybe you're experienced in multiple different things as well. So maybe you can kind of reach people where they're at, and then maybe help to find commonalities to bring people together. And it's because of all your multiple different interests, or the things you've explored in your lifetime, or the people you have come across in your lifetime. You just have this beautiful way of bringing people together, and understanding a lot of different types of people, and maybe helping to show that diversity can be such a beautiful thing, and inclusion is also so important. Yeah. Okay, so now let's close it out with the Oracle, see what the Oracle has to say. Anything to add about the Hive Collective's glow? Please and thank you, Spirit. Anything else to add to this? Please and thank you. Maybe any other qualities? Any other qualities that the collective has that gives them that glow? That gives them that freaking franken glow, though. Ooh. So, the duck and chrysanthemum, this represents luck. This is hitting me as like, you could be a good luck charm for other people, but also be like, there's this sense of people perceiving you as lucky, but it's almost like they see you as somebody that deserves that luck. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like they see what you're doing here and what you're trying to, you know, do in this world, the good that you're trying to cause, the good that you're trying to bring about. And it's like, yes, people see you as somebody that's lucky, but it's like they deserve that luck because people know that you're going to use that luck for good and the good of all, not just yourself. And it's just like, I like that. Then we have the wolf and rose hip. This represents guardianship. I like this a lot because that's going back to that message I was saying about like being the mom of the group, regardless of gender, the parent of the group. You are protective of others. You also may take people under your wing, so to speak, and you're like, the people that you love, you really hold close to you. You like to protect others. You like to, you know, do what you can to support other people. And you just have this way about you that is like very parental in a way. And I almost even feel like maybe certain people see you as sort of like a parental figure, in the way of like maybe they never really had that sort of positive parental figure in their life growing up, but then it's like you show up and they're just like, oh, so this is what it feels like, you know? I feel like there's a critter crawling around somewhere. Yeah, that's beautiful. Oh, and then bottom of the deck we have the moth and eucalyptus. This represents an ending. And that to me is hitting me as like the death card from tarot. And the death card, although it can be about like an ending, it's usually an ending that leads to a new beginning. And there's like that transformative aspect to that. So I feel like you are definitely a master of transformation and a master of endings as well. So it's like if you experience an ending in your life, you can see the big picture. You can see that like, yeah, sure, this thing is ending right now, but it's going to lead to this, this, and this. Or I've been through endings before. I know that it gets much better, and I'm just going to trust in the natural flow of things. I'm not going to try and resist this, because I trust that everything's going to be okay in the end. Very beautiful. And again, that wisdom that you have is just unmistakable. But yes, so that's the reading. I really hope that you enjoyed this. It's like so sweaty. I'm like, oh, I probably look gross, but hopefully you enjoyed it, even though I look like a sweaty mess. And I hope that this resonated. If it did resonate, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you subscribe, you can become a part of the Hive Collective. Because my name is Bee. Bees live in hives, and you can become an honorary bee like me, and we can be a little bee family together. I started laughing while I was saying that because this is for my subscribers anyways, but maybe there's somebody that isn't subscribed to me quite yet and they just need to be convinced. Yeah, so thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. I appreciate each and every one of you so much, and I always look forward to reading your comments and you viewing my videos, liking my videos, all that kind of stuff, just showing your support in any sort of way really means a lot to me. And yeah, I just love and appreciate you guys so much. So thank you for being here. I'm trying to remember my outro. Oh, if you like my readings and you'd like to see more, be sure to click the bell icon down below so that YouTube actually notifies you the next time that I upload. And thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye.